True Spiritual Stories: Why Children Reincarnate as Your Own Buddhist Teachings. Why does a child choose to reincarnate into your family and not another? The Buddha taught that reincarnation is never random. It's deeply rooted in karmic bonds between souls. As human beings, we often ponder the mysteries of life, death, and rebirth. You may have heard the old saying, "We meet those we are destined to meet." But what if the family we're born into isn't by chance? The Buddha offered profound insights into these questions, especially when it comes to why children reincarnate into specific families. Children becoming part of your family isn't just a matter of biology or coincidence, it's a reflection of karmic fate. The connections we share with them, whether joyful or painful, are determined by intricate ties of cause and effect, stretching across lifetimes. So what are the karmic reasons that draw children to you as their parents? How do we understand whether this bond is one of love, repayment, or even karmic conflict? In today's video, we'll explore 4 types of karmic relationships between parents and children, as explained in Buddhist teachings. Welcome to the journey of wisdom. Let's uncover these spiritual truths and deepen our understanding of the bonds that shape our lives. The first type of affinity: debt collection. In the tapestry of life, our relationships often weave intricate karmic connections that stretch across lifetimes. One of the profound teachings of Buddhism explores the idea that some children are born to us as part of a karmic debt, a spiritual reckoning from past lives. This concept invites us to look beyond the immediate sorrow or joy of these relationships and examine the deeper threads that bind us. For instance, in a previous life, you may have owed something, perhaps material wealth, emotional support or care, to a soul that now reincarnates as your child. In this life, they come to collect what is due. Once their debt is repaid, their journey with you concludes, often in ways that leave us grappling with grief and unanswered questions. Consider the story of a family blessed with a bright and lively daughter. There was a couple, Mark and Lisa, who had been longing for a child for years. After many struggles and prayers, they were finally blessed with a baby girl, whom they named Sophia. From the very beginning, Sophia brought unparalleled joy into their lives. She was a remarkably bright and cheerful child, with an inquisitive mind and a heart full of love. Every small milestone, her first steps, her first words, was celebrated with deep gratitude and happiness. As Sophia grew older, her intelligence and compassion became evident. At just 6 years old, she showed a remarkable ability to empathize with others. She would often help her classmates, comfort her friends, and even share her allowance with those in need. Mark and Lisa felt incredibly blessed to have such a loving and kind daughter. To them, Sophia was a gift, a ray of sunshine that illuminated their lives every day. However, when Sophia turned 7, she began to feel unwell. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a common cold, but her condition quickly worsened. After numerous hospital visits and tests, doctors diagnosed her with a rare and aggressive illness. Mark and Lisa were devastated. They spared no effort in seeking the best medical care, spending sleepless nights by her side and praying endlessly for her recovery. Despite their unwavering love and determination, Sophia's health declined rapidly. After months of suffering, she passed away peacefully, leaving her parents utterly heartbroken. Mark and Lisa's grief was immeasurable. They questioned everything. Why did this happen to their beloved daughter? Why was she taken from them so soon? Sophia's absence left a void that nothing could fill. For months, they struggled to find meaning in their loss, clinging to the memories of her bright smile and kind heart. One day, during a chance meeting with a Buddhist teacher, the couple shared their story, seeking solace for their unbearable pain. The teacher listened compassionately and then gently explained a Buddhist perspective. Sophia's brief but beautiful life could be seen as part of a karmic connection. In a past life, the couple may have owed Sophia a significant debt. Her coming into their lives and their unconditional love and care for her were ways of repaying that karmic bond. Once the debt was settled, Sophia's soul, having fulfilled its purpose, moved on. This explanation gave Mark and Lisa a new way to view their loss. While their grief remained, they found a sense of peace in the belief that Sophia's life, though short, was meaningful and complete. They began to focus on the lessons she had taught them: how to love selflessly, how to appreciate the present moment, and how to find strength in adversity. In Sophia's memory, they started a foundation to support children with rare illnesses, channeling their pain into compassion for others. This story not only sheds light on the Buddhist teaching of karmic debts, but also illustrates the transformative power of understanding life's challenges through a spiritual lens. It reminds us that even the most painful experiences can carry profound lessons. When we view our relationships as part of a larger karmic cycle, we can find peace in knowing that every soul's journey is purposeful. In Buddhist teachings, her departure could be understood as the resolution of a karmic debt. Perhaps in a previous existence, the parents owed her a debt that, in this lifetime, was fulfilled through their love, care, and nurturing during her brief time on earth. This perspective doesn't erase the pain of loss, but it offers a spiritual context that can transform anguish into acceptance. The depth of this karmic connection often correlates with the extent of the debt. Some children may leave early, even at just 3 or 4 years old, as their karmic ties are light. Others may stay longer, perhaps until adolescence or early adulthood, before their debt is settled. These departures, regardless of timing, often bring profound heartbreak. Yet, understanding this cycle can help soften the blow, offering a way to reconcile the pain with the greater spiritual narrative. It reminds us that while these connections may seem fleeting, they are purposeful and deeply significant. Reflect for a moment. Could there be karmic patterns at play in your own relationships? Have you ever felt an inexplicable bond or an intense sense of responsibility towards someone in your life? These feelings could hint at deeper karmic ties. By looking inward and exploring these emotions, we may find opportunities to grow, forgive, and release. The story of karmic debts encourages us to view loss not as an end, but as a transition, a continuation of a cycle that has been playing out for lifetimes. It also calls us to nurture the relationships we have in the present, honoring them fully while they last. While the notion of karmic debt can explain the departure of a loved one, it also teaches a broader lesson about the impermanence of life. Each moment we have with someone is precious and fleeting, a gift that cannot be taken for granted. This understanding urges us to approach our relationships with gratitude, patience, and love, knowing that they may be part of a larger divine plan. It also encourages us to practice non-attachment, a central tenet of Buddhism, reminding us to cherish what we have without clinging, for all things are transient. If you're a parent or someone who has experienced such a loss, this teaching offers a pathway to healing. It encourages you to honor your grief while also finding peace in the knowledge that the connection served its purpose. Ask yourself, what can this experience teach me about love, compassion, and letting go? How can I use this understanding to bring more mindfulness and presence to my current relationships? The ultimate lesson here is not one of despair, but of awareness. Life's challenges, especially those involving the loss of loved ones, are often our greatest spiritual teachers. They remind us of the impermanence of existence and the beauty of the present moment. In recognizing the karmic bonds we share with others, we gain the wisdom to approach life's joys and sorrows with equanimity. And in doing so, we find not just peace for ourselves, but the ability to bring peace and compassion to the world around us. The second type of affinity, repaying debts. In the tapestry of life, the relationships we share with our children can often be seen as woven from the threads of karma and fate. In Buddhism, one fascinating perspective is the concept of children reincarnating into our lives to either collect or repay debts from past lives. This isn't about financial debts as we think of them, but karmic ones, acts of kindness or harm carried over from one lifetime to the next. Some children come into our lives to repay us for past kindness, and others to settle accounts in ways that may seem mysterious, but are deeply rooted in karmic balance. Let me share with you a story that brings this to life. There was a boy born into a family struggling with poverty. Despite his challenging upbringing, this boy had an extraordinary sense of gratitude toward his parents. As he grew, he worked tirelessly, driven by an unwavering desire to support his family. Against all odds, he became a successful businessman. The first thing he did with his wealth was build a new home for his parents, ensuring their later years were filled with comfort and dignity. He also made sure they never had to worry about finances or emotional support again. His actions seemed almost instinctive, as if repaying a nurturing debt he had carried in his heart since childhood. From a Buddhist perspective, such a child exemplifies a soul repaying a significant karmic debt. His love and responsibility toward his parents were not coincidental. They were part of a karmic cycle of gratitude and repayment. Contrast this with another family that had two sons. Both grew up to lead stable, comfortable lives. However, the second son, from a young age, showed little emotional connection with his parents. When he became an adult, his financial support to them was minimal, barely enough to cover basic needs. He reasoned that his parents could manage on their own and didn't require much from him. This left his parents in a position where they had to live frugally, often sacrificing their own comfort. According to Buddhist teachings, this son likely owed his parents only a small karmic debt from a past life. His limited connection and support were merely fulfilling the extent of that obligation, and the depth of their relationship was correspondingly shallow. These stories invite us to reflect deeply on the nature of our bonds with our children, or anyone in our lives for that matter. Have you ever wondered why some relationships feel so rich, warm, and fulfilling, while others seem distant, transactional, or even strained? The Buddhist concept of karmic debts gives us a lens through which to understand these dynamics. It suggests that no relationship is random. Every interaction is shaped by past actions and intentions. The acts of kindness or harm we sow in one life often bloom into the relationships we encounter in the next. But here's where the lesson becomes truly profound. While karma might explain why certain relationships exist, it doesn't mean we are powerless in shaping them. Whether a child comes to repay a large debt, a small debt, or even collect one, the love and compassion we show in this lifetime have the power to transform those dynamics. Imagine what could happen if we approached all relationships with unconditional kindness, even when they don't seem to offer the same in return. Would that not create a new cycle of positive karma, enriching not just this life, but countless ones to come? Now ask yourself, how do you view the relationships in your life? Are there people who have gone out of their way to support and uplift you, perhaps repaying kindnesses you've forgotten? Are there others who seem to take more than they give? Rather than judging these dynamics, can you see them as opportunities to practice generosity, patience, and compassion? When you offer love and care freely, you break the cycle of expectations and pave the way for deeper, more meaningful connections. The stories we share about karmic debts are not meant to assign blame or create hierarchy in relationships. Instead, they remind us that life is a continuous cycle of giving and receiving. The boy who repaid his parents' kindness and the son who gave only a little both played their roles in this karmic dance. But as individuals, we have the power to choose how we act within these roles. Will we repay debts with a full heart or a grudging hand? Will we forgive those who seem to come to collect rather than give? These are the choices that define our spiritual growth. Ultimately, the lesson here is simple yet profound. Love and gratitude transcend the debts of karma. While fate might bring us together with certain people, the actions we take define the quality of those relationships. By nurturing compassion and practicing kindness without expectation, we can create a ripple effect that heals old wounds and plants seeds of joy and harmony for the future. Do you believe that the relationships in your life, whether filled with love, challenges, or distance, could be part of a deeper karmic cycle? Comment 1 if you feel connected to this idea, or comment yes if you're ready to approach relationships with more kindness and compassion. Third type of affinity, revenge. In Buddhist teachings, the notion of karma, the law of cause and effect, teaches us that our actions sow seeds that manifest across lifetimes. One profound aspect of this teaching is the idea that children may reincarnate as our own, not out of love, but as a consequence of karmic retribution. This concept challenges our understanding of family ties, urging us to reflect deeply on the nature of our relationships. Let me share with you a thought-provoking story, deeply rooted in Buddhist teachings, that may change the way you view family relationships, particularly the bond between parents and children. This story speaks to the mysterious workings of karma and the way it shapes our lives, sometimes in ways we don't expect. There was a couple, John and Mary, who lived in a quiet suburb in the United States. They had a son, Michael, whom they loved dearly. When Michael was born, they felt a sense of joy and fulfillment like never before. However, as Michael grew older, their happiness began to wane. From a young age, Michael was defiant and headstrong. He refused to follow rules, often talked back to his parents, and created constant tension in their home. John and Mary hoped he would grow out of it, but his behavior only worsened with time. By the time Michael was a teenager, he had started skipping school, hanging out with the wrong crowd, and experimenting with drugs. His parents tried everything they could: therapy, stricter rules, and even family counseling, but nothing seemed to work. As an adult, Michael's life spiraled further out of control. He became addicted to gambling and accrued massive debts. When the creditors came knocking, John and Mary, driven by their love for their son, sold their house and used their savings to pay off his debts. But even their sacrifices weren't enough to save Michael. He left them one day without a word, cutting all contact. John and Mary were devastated. They had done everything they could for their son, yet their love was met with abandonment. They spent their remaining years wondering, what did we do wrong? Why did this happen to us? From a Western perspective, this might seem like a case of poor parenting, bad influences, or simply bad luck. But Buddhist teachings offer a deeper lens through which to view this situation, the law of karma. According to this belief, the relationship between John, Mary, and Michael didn't start in this lifetime. It is likely rooted in a karmic connection from a past life where roles might have been reversed. Perhaps John or Mary wronged Michael in a previous existence, betraying his trust or causing him pain. The unresolved energy from that past life led Michael to reincarnate as their son, bringing with him the karmic burden of retribution. You may wonder, how can a child, innocent and vulnerable at birth, be the bearer of karmic revenge? It's not about the child's conscious intention, but rather the natural unfolding of karma. Actions from past lives create imprints, and these imprints manifest in the relationships we experience today. In Michael's case, his disruptive behavior was the karmic consequence of something that may have happened long ago. But this story isn't about assigning blame. It's about finding meaning and lessons in life's most difficult challenges. The pain John and Mary endured was not punishment, but an opportunity for growth. In the face of their suffering, they were given a chance to practice patience, forgiveness, and unconditional love. This, in turn, could help dissolve the karmic cycle and bring peace to their souls. The Buddha teaches us that karma isn't fixed. It can be changed. Even when we face hardships that seem unfair, we have the power to transform them through our actions in the present moment. How we respond to suffering determines whether we perpetuate the cycle or break free from it. John and Mary's sacrifices, though painful, were acts of love that carried the seeds of healing for their family's karmic debt. So, what can we learn from this? First, it's a reminder that our actions, both good and bad, leave an imprint, not just on this life, but on future lives as well. We should strive to live with kindness, integrity, and generosity, sowing seeds of good karma for ourselves and those around us. Second, it encourages us to view difficult relationships, especially with our children, as opportunities for growth rather than mere sources of frustration. Instead of reacting with anger or despair, ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me? How can I respond in a way that fosters healing and understanding? This story also challenges us to reflect on our own lives. Are there patterns of conflict in your relationships that feel inexplicable or repetitive? Could they be echoes of unresolved karma? And more importantly, how can you shift your perspective to address them with compassion and wisdom? Remember, every relationship carries a lesson, and every challenge is an opportunity for spiritual growth. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, and forgiveness, we can transform even the most painful karmic ties into opportunities for healing and liberation. The fourth type of affinity, repaying kindness. In the vast tapestry of life and rebirth, there is a beautiful thread that binds us to those we share our journey with, a thread woven from kindness and love. In Buddhist teachings, this is often referred to as the fourth fate, repaying kindness. If, in a previous life, you showed kindness and love to your children, creating a bond of deep virtue and fate, then in this life, they may be reincarnated not just as your children again, but as individuals who come to repay that kindness with devotion and care. These are the children who bring light and joy into a family, with hearts full of gratitude and actions that reflect profound love. There is a story about a farming family living in a small, simple village nestled deep in a peaceful countryside. The elderly couple worked tirelessly throughout their lives, tending to every row of vegetables and every grain of rice to sustain their family. Though their lives were modest and full of challenges, they were filled with love and warmth. They had one son, and all their hopes and affection were poured into him. Despite their difficult circumstances, the parents never let their son go without. They always gave him warmth, love, and simple yet meaningful meals. From a young age, the son showed himself to be an extraordinary child. Not only was he diligent in his studies, but he was also deeply filial. While his peers spent their days playing, he would often help his parents with farm work. On scorching days, he carried buckets of water to help his father irrigate the fields. In the evenings, under the dim glow of an oil lamp, He studied diligently at an old wooden table. Although his parents were not well educated, they always encouraged him to pursue his studies, doing everything they could to help him follow the path of knowledge. As the years passed, the little boy grew into a young man and was accepted into a prestigious medical school. When the family received the news of his admission, they were overwhelmed with pride and joy. Despite their limited means, his parents decided to sell a piece of their land to fund his education. They told each other, "No matter how hard it gets, as long as our son can study and have a brighter future, we will be content." The son understood the sacrifices his parents made for him, and this deep sense of gratitude became a powerful motivation for him to strive harder. Throughout his years of studying far from home, he wrote letters regularly, sharing small achievements and constantly reminding his parents to take care of their health. After graduating, he became a highly respected doctor, admired by everyone. However, what made him happiest was not his newfound reputation, but the ability to care for and repay his parents. Once he had a stable career, he returned to his hometown, bringing with him the savings he had accumulated to renovate his parents' old house. He built them a new, spacious home, equipped with all the comforts they needed to live peacefully in their later years. Beyond providing material comforts, he stayed by their side, tending to their every need, just as they had lovingly cared for him when he was a child. The neighbors in the village admired him greatly, saying, "This son truly is a blessing to his family." But beyond the praise and admiration, this story serves as a vivid testament to the law of karma in life. Perhaps in a past life, the parents had sown seeds of love and compassion, and in this life, they reaped the sweet fruit through their devoted and filial son. This is the unbreakable connection of the four faiths in Buddhism: repaying kindness, repaying wrongs, offering gratitude, or seeking repayment for harm. This story reminds us that every act of kindness and every ounce of love we give creates seeds in the flow of karma. These seeds, when watered with sincerity and goodness, will bloom into beautiful results, whether in this life or the next. Have you ever wondered what seeds you are planting in your daily life? Are you spreading love, compassion, and support to those around you? Always remember, no good deed is ever wasted. Each act of kindness you perform today could become a light guiding you or someone else in the future. Life is not just about what we receive, but also about what we give. Live a meaningful life, sow seeds of virtue to reap sweet fruits, and let our lives become stories of pride and inspiration for future generations. Thank you for being here and exploring today's topic with us. It's truly a joy to have you as part of our growing community. If today's story about children reincarnating as your own resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts or personal experiences in the comments below. If you're new to our channel, feel free to write "I am a seeker," or if you've been with us for a while, comment "I am mindful." Your engagement means so much. It's what inspires us to continue sharing these meaningful teachings. Now, let's journey deeper into this fascinating wisdom, shall we? Advice on parent-child relationships in Buddhism: karma, virtue, and responsibility. In Buddhism, the parent-child relationship is profoundly influenced by karma, fate, and virtue. The teachings reveal that if there were no karmic connection between you and your child, they would not come to you in this life. This profound relationship is predestined, reflecting debts, gratitude, or lessons from past lives. Whether your child is obedient or rebellious, successful or struggling, these traits are not random. They are intricately tied to karma and the actions accumulated across lifetimes. Such wisdom urges parents to approach their role not with frustration or blame, but with understanding, patience, and a sense of responsibility to nurture and guide. The journey of parenthood begins with great sacrifice, yet it is only the first step. Raising a child is even more challenging, as it demands immense emotional, spiritual, and physical investment. In this process, Buddhism reminds parents to accumulate virtue and avoid harmful actions driven by greed, hatred, or selfishness. If you harm others to secure material wealth or act out of jealousy or vengeance, the karma you generate may not only affect you, but ripple into the lives of your children. As the Buddha said, "What you think you become. What you feel you attract. What you imagine you create." Your actions today shape the environment your child inherits, not just materially but spiritually. If your child is not as you had hoped, perhaps not as obedient or accomplished as you wished, it is essential to see this as an opportunity for self-reflection rather than despair. This could be a karmic repayment for your past actions, a chance to grow in patience, or an invitation to understand your own shortcomings. A Zen parable tells the story of a farmer who lost his horse. When neighbors expressed sympathy, the farmer replied, "Maybe." The horse returned with more horses, but the farmer remained unmoved, saying again, "Maybe." His acceptance of all outcomes teaches us to embrace life with equanimity, whether it brings joy or challenge. Similarly, your child, whether they bring you joy or difficulty, is part of your karmic journey. As parents, it is vital to serve as moral exemplars. The Buddhist path of self-improvement emphasizes that our children often learn not from what we say, but from what we do. Practicing kindness, honesty, and compassion becomes a living lesson for them. It is also crucial to take an active role in educating your child about morality, empathy, and responsibility. When parents embody these virtues, they create an atmosphere of harmony that helps to resolve not only karmic debts, but also cultivates a virtuous legacy for future generations. The Buddha said, "Set your heart on doing good. Do it over and over, and you will be filled with joy." This applies to parenthood as much as to any other endeavor. The Buddhist understanding of the 4 types of karmic relationships between parents and children, relationships based on repaying gratitude, exacting revenge, collecting debts, or repaying them, further underscores the complexity of this bond. Whatever the karmic connection, each relationship offers an opportunity for growth. If your child challenges you, it may push you to develop patience and wisdom. If they bring you happiness, it is a chance to nurture gratitude and humility. Viewing these dynamics through the lens of karma can transform your perspective, turning parenting from a burden into a spiritual practice. Modern life often prioritizes material success, but Buddhism advises against focusing solely on external achievements. Accumulating virtue and creating an environment of love and understanding is the most enduring gift you can give your child. Wealth and possessions can be fleeting, but the moral and spiritual foundation you build with them lasts across lifetimes. By practicing compassion, selflessness, and charity in the present, you not only resolve past karma, but also pave the way for blessings in this life and beyond. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Because you are alive, everything is possible." This potential lies in every moment you share with your child. Ultimately, whether your child comes to you with karmic ties of love or resentment, gratitude or debt, the key to transforming that relationship lies in how you live today. By fostering love, tolerance, and responsibility, you can turn any karmic bond into a positive force. This doesn't just benefit the child, but also helps parents grow spiritually, escaping the cycles of suffering and reincarnation. Parenting, seen through this lens, is not only about raising a child, but also about deepening one's own spiritual journey. In a modern context, this perspective encourages us to slow down, reflect, and prioritize values over materialism. Instead of focusing on creating a perfect life for your child, focus on becoming a person of virtue. Teach them not through lectures, but by living a life of integrity and compassion. As a story from Buddhist tradition teaches, a man once sought the Buddha's advice on guiding his wayward son. The Buddha responded, "Just as a farmer channels water to his fields, so too can a parent guide a child." The man learned that parenting is about direction and nurture, not control. In the same way, your role is to create a fertile ground for your child to grow while accepting their unique path. By embracing love, patience, and the teachings of karma, you transform the challenges of parenthood into profound lessons for both yourself and your child. In doing so, you create a bond that transcends lifetimes, a bond rooted in virtue and understanding. This approach not only strengthens the parent-child relationship, but also brings peace and fulfillment, ensuring that both parent and child grow closer to liberation from the cycles of karma and suffering. Through your actions, you offer the greatest legacy, a path of wisdom, love, and spiritual progress. Thank you for joining us on the journey of wisdom to explore the profound teachings of karma and reincarnation in the parent-child relationship. These timeless lessons remind us of the intricate karmic ties that bind us, the opportunities for growth they present, and the enduring power of love and compassion in transforming our lives. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a like, share it with others who may benefit, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upcoming video filled with wisdom and spiritual insights. Let's continue this journey together, uncovering the truths that bring us closer to understanding, peace, and harmony. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.